So this is our week 4 follow-up Friday with Frank. Before we talk about what you've been working on, I just want to thank our sponsors, Becca Doodles, The Art of Cute, Art of Wigs, Sugar Tits, Game Masters Guild, Pop Cycle Baubles, SuperHeroStuff.com, Rising Mist Designs, Etania Designs, and Balls. Now, what have you been working on?
My turn, huh?
Yep.
Well, this week was kind of a recovery week. Last week I didn't get a whole lot of my own stuff done. Uh, I had a visitor, uh, and I was pretty much working on some other things, just getting some small stuff done. But I did manage to basically get a few ideas cooking in my head. One of the projects I had to work on, I mentioned it before, was a steampunk camera for Dragon Con for a commission.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, I'm not in my normal location. I'm actually back at my shop in Myrtle Beach. This is the other house. Uh, I'm living like Tony Stark, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, I totally have. And
This is my
I'm
folks' house.
totally jealous.
I wish. This is my folks' house. Uh, and I'm not feeling too good today, so that's why I'm not in the garage doing this interview. But I did make some progress this week. Did some on the costume. I managed to draft a pattern. I had to sort of do this by hand,
Mm-hmm.
scratch the pattern for the top part of my hood for Black Lantern. I actually have it right here. I can back out a little bit. I planned on doing some embroidery on it. I used what I could figure out online, if familiar with Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I looked them up online. I found a couple patterns that were similar. I wanted to do the V in the front because I'm going to do some embroidery on it. Actually, it's just drawn out
Okay.
my embroidery that's going to be started. I have it reinforced, but this is basically the hood pattern here. If I can hold it up, that way you can see through it. It's going to be double lined, so you won't be able to.
Okay.
But think of it like this from the side.
Okay.
It'll be on my left hand here. And that'll be the back end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing's basically going to, I'll wear it up sometimes, sometimes down, but it's going to hide the smoke lines that are going to run up the back of my neck.
Okay.
So even when I have this hood down, uh, it's still going to probably be somewhere around there on me, but
Okay. Okay.
it can still cover that smoke line up so you don't actually see where it's coming from. So once I get this embroidered, I'll sew in the lining for it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then figure out how to mount it onto the costume. Probably use those same mounting studs that I mounted the hood with that hold the
Okay.
shoulder pads in place on the vest. That's sort of it's a great anchoring point. And I don't know if anybody followed my page 2 days ago. I finally put the entire costume on in its entirety that I have done so far. It's something I don't usually do
Mm-hmm.
because I like to wait until the day of to showing it, which is weird, I know. But I ended up putting it all on, just checking it for comfort. It's not bad. I can get the whole thing on myself so far.
Oh, good.
The mask is very comfortable to wear. A little bit hot because my face is completely, my whole head is wrapped up in a neoprene hood, so it's
Mm.
tight. But it's not bad at all compared to my Iron Man costume. That thing is probably an extra 40 pounds, 45 pounds lugging around, and it takes two people to get it on. Uh,
Wow.
I can actually put this one on all myself, and the other remaining pieces, like the gauntlets that I plan on doing, I can get on myself too. They shouldn't be a problem, so it's going to be a lot more comfortable, I think. Uh, last
That's
year,
good.
last year Friday and Saturday, I wore Iron Man 13 hours apiece each day,
Jesus.
straight through. Yeah, that was dedication.
Yeah.
I actually took naps halfway in between in the costume in the room
In costume, you took a nap?
just to get the air conditioning because it gets so hot in the Marriott. I went into
Yeah.
the hotel room after I think Friday I went in real early. Like I had on for maybe 2 hours. It was before the Friday night judging, and
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't take the heat. I said, "Oh, I'm just going to go sit sit in a chair, and I basically did. I sat propped up, fell asleep, and yeah, got to take a nap. Uh,
Oh
but this
man.
will be a little easier. I can actually take this thing off a little easier. I can at least get the mask off
Right.
and just breathes a lot better than what I was working with Iron Man. I don't have that big heavy backpack on.
Are you gonna wear it Friday and Saturday?
Um, Black Lantern,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Friday is a guaranteed all day
Right.
because the costume contest lineup starts about 1.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just get there. They don't give you an assigned time. They only let in about 50 people. They're already filled up for the Friday night
Mm-hmm.
contest with entries. Um, but they only get 50 people. They don't give you a time to show up to get judged. So you're stuck there all day from 1
Oh
to like,
God.
I think 5 or 6. And
Wow.
then you just sit around and wait backstage till you go on at 8 o'clock. So it kills
Jeez.
your Friday. But I mean, it's worth it because that's the serious competitive costume contest that they have
Right.
there. It's much more competitive because it's all about craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Masquerade on Sunday is a little bit more about groups and uh, little different judging aspect to it. But
Right.
still hoping I can get it all done. I, I'm the costume parts of it. I'm still working on. I still haven't really gotten all the electronics all figured out yet either. So,
Mm-hmm.
but today, actually, why I'm back here was I finally started to work physically. Everything else has been on paper for now on that steampunk camera.
Okay.
So today I went out and got the wood for it because basically, I think I'd shown that camera last week, the old style 1900 accordion style camera that I was
Mm-hmm.
modeled this off of. I actually have what I have been working on so far here. It's all made out of quarter-inch plywood right now. It's basically a 9-inch by 9-inch box.
Okay.
I know it doesn't look like much of anything right now. This still comes out. Everything has to be stained at this point. But what it's going to be done is it will be a little extra platform there. It's going to be screwed down to a period camera tripod.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be carried around. You can sort of swing it over your shoulder and just carry it around on your shoulder. Um, this back portion of it, actually I have everything die cut already for it, will be hinged. This is where the
Okay.
DSLR will go into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the camera right here. It's a Rebel,
Okay.
and give you a little bit better idea of it. This front portion is going to open up. We'll have a swing on it. Have that piece of wood here too. Um, basically going to be hinged, so this will open up like that. That's how those old style cameras would open.
Mm-hmm.
I have like some chains or something that'll hold it in place like a drawbridge. Uh,
Right.
we have this period bellows. This is where
Mm.
it'll start to actually take place. This is going to be mounted inside of here.
Okay.
See, now
Okay.
what will happen is I'm going to have to put a front wooden plate here where the lens will be, and that's where the Rebel will shoot out of, but as you
Mm-hmm.
can see, expand.
Right. Right.
So that'll just basically pull out. That's the basis of what the camera is going to look like. Now it's just getting all assembled, adding all the little bells and whistles that it'll need.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take some time. Uh, Probably going to eat up a good 2 to 3 weeks of my time here that I really know I don't have. Uh, the client also wants to have it with a flash.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I haven't quite figured out how to make that work yet. I might not be able to have that working for DragonCon. That might be something since he's local. He actually lives not that far from where I live. I can get it to him after DragonCon, so I can at least get it to where it works and looks good. It's not going to necessarily have a flash on it,
Right.
uh, but it'll still, it'll function, and then I can finish that afterwards. That'll probably be what I'll do.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of
That's a
work right now.
lot.
Yeah, and then plus work. Thankfully my class schedule's not too bad this summer. We only have about 2 weeks left, and then I'm done until the week of DragonCon when we start fall semester. So I get the rest of the summer off, thankfully, and
That's good.
I can actually get some stuff done.
You have a lot.
Yeah, it's
Goodness.
getting a little overwhelming at this point, but I think I have it time managed decently enough that I should be able to do it. I mean, I was able to, buy the wood and cut it all out and get it roughed out, and it's
Mhm.
ready for stain right now in the box. And that was really the hard part. The fit and finish stuff is not too bad at all. As long as my dimensions are accurate, the camera should mount up in there perfectly.
Have you test fitted the camera yet?
Not yet. What I end up having to do is, everybody knows if you ever see a camera, they have these little screw mounts on the bottom of them.
Mhm.
Basically, to keep it inside of that camera and keep it from moving around, I'm going to make, if you can picture just a little yoke that it will sit on, that
Mhm.
basically a metal bracket that'll mount to the bottom, be fairly
Mhm.
heavy duty metal. But what it'll have is, I'll just have like a little tiny spin screw with like a
Mhm.
plastic they use on these for tripods, and it'll
Mhm.
just basically connect right through there. So that way it'll be, you can move the box around and the camera won't shift. It'll be firmly mounted into it. You don't have to worry about it getting banged around or anything like that. The whole big thing is getting it lined up and
Mhm.
getting, see, the camera, you can't adjust your focus
Right.
because you basically are having to turn these. So if you want to focus on something, you
Mhm.
basically have to set this to where it can shoot through that bellows and not catch the sides.
Right.
It's still on autofocus,
Mhm.
but basically your zoom you're going to have to set ahead of time before you put the camera in.
Mhm.
Once you get that done, in order to, if you're taking a portrait of somebody, you have to do
Mhm.
this. You have to move the camera on its tripod and set it
Okay.
up.
Okay.
But one nice thing is you're not going to shake. It should take a pretty good picture, and it has its autofocus still on. It should be able to focus fine.
Mhm.
It's also going to have a hand trigger that's going to be an external hand trigger. So basically, you can set it, look through the viewfinder,
Mhm.
through the box, because the back of the box is going to be opened up. You can basically
Mhm.
set your picture, come outside of it, and hit a button. So it'll
Okay.
kind of look like the old style cameras too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen a few done before, but
Mhm.
I've never seen any that were just really, really clean that used bellows like this.
Mhm.
This, at least I haven't been able to find any on the internet, so this is going to be probably the first of its kind. I think it's going to do pretty well, but I'm kind of getting out of the steampunk thing. Whole
Yeah.
genre. I'm kind of hitting a brick wall with creativity. I think I've told you that before, and I kind
Mhm.
of want to get back into just general cosplaying. The fan base is so much larger,
Yeah.
and there's still too many people that don't get steampunk, and I don't see it growing anymore. I mean, its time to grow was from 2010, and I think from last year to this year, there hasn't been really any growth in the communities.
Really.
So I'm sort of, getting a little disheartened with it, and just want to go back into the cosplaying. I know a lot more people that just do general cosplaying.
Right.
I'm I'm getting old, but I'm not that old yet, so I think I can still do some stuff.
Hey, I've seen I swear this man was like 80 years old at Dragon Con a few years ago, dressed as Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly.
Here we go.
It, it was really accurate too. He was
Yeah.
so cute and like wrinkled and adorable.
Oh,
So you're
that's the
never
thing.
too old.
You're not, and I like the fact. Well, I try to emulate characters that are more towards my age. I'm getting
Mm.
back into, as you know, wearing wigs. Another costume that I'll have at Dragon Con is an updated version. If I can get some updates done on it, I have some plans for it. My male Elsa. Uh,
Mhm.
Thanks to Arta sponsoring us, I was able to get the perfect wig.
Awesome.
Last wig I got was a cheapie on eBay that was way too small for my big head. Old Art overruns a little bit bigger. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping, because the last wig I had on, I wore the costume for about 6 hours because I was afraid to take the crown off for fear of messing up the wig. I didn't think I
Mhm.
could actually get it back on my head right. So I ended up having a line on my head about here for 2 weeks, a red line.
So
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, it wasn't fun. It looked horrible. Everybody's like, "What happened to your forehead?" I was like, "Big." And they're like, "Why are you wearing a wig?" I was like, "Don't ask."
It's hard to explain cosplay injuries
To the
to,
normie. Yeah.
yeah, you go into work covered in all kinds of stuff and they ask way too many questions.
The only time they get it is when it's Halloween and they all expect me
Mhm.
to dress up for work.
Yeah.
And that was fun last year. I just did Indiana Jones. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I'll do something different.
And then you get the people like, "Oh, can you make my costume?"
Yeah, I just say, yeah, no,
Yeah, they hear the price of it and then they freak out.
you're on your own.
Alrighty,
We're getting
so
there. What's our day count? Help me. Uh,
um
40 days now?
40?
40.
41? Wait, let me double check. Something like that. Something really frightening.
Yeah, that's scary. I'm hoping by our
Mhm.
next interview next Friday, I will have this camera at least about 50% done. It should be stained, assembled. Um, I should be working on just doing the accessory, like some added lights and switches and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I think I'll be fairly well along by that point because the following week I do need to get started. My last couple weeks, I guess 3 weeks before Dragon Con, that's when I'll be working on the gauntlets.
Okay. Well, you have 42 days
Oh, it's coming.
and 13 hours.
It's coming.
So it's basically tomorrow,
Yeah, I know.
which has me really excited, but there's so much to get done between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, as long as I get this camera functional, that's probably where I will leave it, to where it can be used.
Hmm.
And then, like I said, I just don't have to finish the rest of it later, just so that
Right.
the client can actually use it for a little bit. Because I got to focus on Black Lantern, I have to get that done.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna leave you to get to that,
All right, sounds good.
and we'll catch up next week and see where you're at.
See you next week.
Alrighty.